F1 powerfulness drivers. While the world of Formula One is filled with high-stakes competition, there are certain drivers who stand out not only for their ability, but also for the enormous influence and power they have inside the sport. Not only have these powerhouse drivers mastered the art of racing, but they have also left an unmistakable stamp on the history and culture of the sport. For example, they have won multiple championships. It doesn't matter if it's through record-breaking performances, commanding presence both on and off the track, or determining the direction of their teams. These drivers are the epitome of Formula One prowess. Their careers are distinguished by more than simply victories. They exemplify the unrelenting pursuit of excellence, the capacity to inspire others, and the ability to alter the trajectory of Formula One. The problem: every single driver in Formula One is fiercely competitive, and they all have the same goal in mind: to win victories and championships. Max Verstappen, who continues to be held to the highest standards in the sport, was the dominant driver during the 2023 season. On the other hand, the desire to achieve success is not something that is unique to a single driver. Rather, it is a characteristic that is shared by all drivers. For example, Fernando Alonso, a seasoned veteran, is anxious to win his 33rd race and possibly win a third world championship with Aston Martin. He is also eager to continue his success in the sport. In addition, there are younger drivers such as Lando Norris who are also competing. 2 years ago, Norris came very close to winning his maiden race, but he made a mistake that cost him a lot of money. In addition to other players such as Oscar Piastri, Alex Albon, and Yuki Tsunoda, he is frequently considered to be a contender for the title of future champion. Charles Leclerc and his teammate are both yearning for success at Ferrari. Leclerc has experienced a number of failures thanks to strategic mistakes made by the team, and his partner is similarly desperate for success. Even in light of this, his ambition has not wavered in the least. One more important figure is Lewis Hamilton, who has won 7 world championships. He is well known for his unrelenting desire to win, and he has refused to leave his career on a negative note. He has even hinted that he may continue to race for another 5 years. George Russell, who is a teammate of Lewis Hamilton's, is also competing, as is Max Verstappen, who is motivated by the aspiration to break records that have been in place for a very long time in the sport. Every year there is only one driver who can win the championship, which means that it is impossible for all of these outstanding drivers to attain their goals at the same time. This presents a difficulty. If each and every driver were to achieve their goals, it would take until the year 2038 for them to be able to say that they have accomplished their goals. By that time, the harsh conditions brought on by climate change might make races much more difficult, with drivers having to contend with the possibility of experiencing physical weariness in locations such as the Qatar Grand Prix. The unrelenting pursuit of achievement, on the other hand, is what makes Formula One such an intriguing sport. The collective hunger of these drivers is what constitutes the very soul of the sport. Close competition. One of the key issues facing Formula One lately has been the lack of close competition and the dominance of a single team. A prime example of this is the 2023 season, where Max Verstappen and Red Bull completely dominated the field. To be clear, I'm not suggesting that Red Bull doesn't deserve their place at the top or that their success should be hindered. They've earned their victories fair and square. Instead, my frustration lies with the other teams which simply haven't been able to rise to the challenge. For instance, Ferrari's performance has been inconsistent, and their pit stop strategy often leaves much to be desired. Aston Martin, on the other hand, seems to struggle with effective upgrades to their car. While Verstappen and Red Bull undeniably deserve their championship title this season, the lack of competitive balance is glaring. If you look at the points and wins distribution, the disparity is striking. Outside of Red Bull, only one other driver, Carlos Sainz, managed to secure a win during the entire season at the Singapore Grand Prix. Even that victory came as a result of George Russell crashing out towards the end of the race, which handed Sainz the win. Mercedes, another strong team historically, has also felt the effects of this imbalance. Lewis Hamilton, who has over 100 career wins, dominated much of the last decade. And while that era eventually became monotonous, it still offered more variety in race winners compared to the current landscape. What's particularly frustrating is that the FIA introduced regulation and rule changes starting with the 2022 season, which were supposed to promote closer racing and tighter competition. However, these changes seem to have had the opposite effect, allowing one team to dominate even more while the others struggle to keep up. As a result, fans are stuck listening to the Dutch national anthem almost every race weekend as Verstappen takes another victory. It feels like every time there's a glimmer of hope for a close race, Red Bull just pulls ahead once again. In short, the issue of dominance has taken much of the excitement out of F1, and the attempts to fix it have only made it worse. The world champion problem. The discussion revolves around the issue of lost talent in Formula One, a sport where many skilled drivers are unable to win championships due to the dominance of certain eras. The world champion problem refers to the fact that only a limited number of drivers can win the title, leaving many deserving ones without the opportunity to claim the highest accolade in the sport. For instance, Fernando Alonso has been chasing his third world title for decades, but due to various circumstances, such as underperforming cars and challenging team situations, he hasn't been able to achieve it. Drivers like Nico Hülkenberg, who have shown great skill by consistently performing well despite having less competitive cars, still haven't even managed to secure a podium finish. Charles Leclerc is another example, a driver who has shown potential, but is yet to win a world championship, largely due to the inconsistency and strategic errors of his team, Ferrari. By the time some of these drivers win a title, it might be too late for them to fully enjoy or capitalize on that success. The speaker suggests that simply increasing the number of titles or introducing more divisions, as seen with the different formula categories, F4, F3, F2, etc., isn't the solution. Instead, the focus should be on creating rules that ensure closer racing and give all teams a more equal chance of winning. However, balancing fairness and competitiveness is a difficult task, and the speaker doubts that significant changes will happen soon, leaving the responsibility to the FIA. Another issue highlighted is the overemphasis on championships as the sole measure of a driver's talent and skill. Some fans, particularly newer ones, equate the number of championships with a driver's ability, which is misleading. A driver with fewer titles can be just as skilled as one with more, and this point often gets lost in discussions among fans. In conclusion, the world champion problem in F1 could be addressed by stricter regulations that level the playing field, ensuring that more drivers have a fair chance to compete for victories and championships. This would prevent the current situation where only a few drivers have the opportunity to win, leaving many others without the recognition they deserve. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon.